Welcome back to another episode of the Ohio Tech Report. It's been a massive week for Ohio, a massive week for innovation and technology happening here. It's been getting global news, but this is the Ohio Tech Report presented by Zendesk. I'm Chris Berry with Ohio X. Before we start talking the really big news, this week's special guest is David Croft up in Cleveland, a partner at Meyers Roman. David, tell us a little bit about yourself, the work you're doing, and what's up in Cleveland.
So I'm a business attorney, and primarily I'm working outside of the courtroom, hopefully. I help businesses with their day-to-day needs. My specialties, though, lie in the world of technology. I've worked with Ohio X since inception. My areas of expertise primarily lie in cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and cybersecurity. So kind of everything in between there. We help clients from all over the world.
That's awesome. And as David mentioned, he has been part of Ohio X from day one and helped us literally get up and running. So David, we are grateful for that. But before we begin, we want to thank our sponsor, Zendesk. And Zendesk was built upon a simple idea: make customer service software that's easy to use and accessible to everyone. Zendesk's customer service and engagement products are powerful and flexible and scale to meet the needs of any business. They serve businesses across hundreds of industries with more than 145,000 paid customer accounts, offering service and support in more than 30 languages. Zendesk is headquartered in San Francisco, but they work with companies worldwide. You can learn more at zendesk.com. And as they say, the best customer experiences are built with Zendesk. But David, if you're ready to hop on in, we'll start with story number one, which if anyone hasn't picked up the news, gone online, I don't know how you could miss it, but it's Intel is coming to Ohio. They're building a semiconductor chip factory just outside of Columbus in New Albany, Licking County. But David, I'm going to read a couple stats at this. This is the Ohio campus at a glance. It's 3,000 new high-tech Intel jobs, a $20 billion capital investment with the potential to go up to $100 billion. It's 2 new leading tech semiconductor fabs. It's the first one like this in Ohio. Thousands of construction jobs and tens of thousands of indirect and support jobs like contractors, suppliers, consultants, in addition to the customer or the employee and construction jobs. So to say the least, this literally made worldwide news, and it's an awesome thing to see for Ohio.
Agreed. I think, given the fact that there's a worldwide chip shortage, this couldn't come at a better time. I've read some of the same articles you have, and I think some of the things that kind of struck me the most, aside from the fact that this is the largest economic development project in Ohio history, some of the things I've heard is references to Ohio, comparing it to Silicon Valley and calling it Silicon Heartland. Intel is one of the companies that made Silicon Valley what it is today. Before Intel got there, it wasn't as widely known as it is now. And so that, just thinking of that in context of this coming to Ohio and the magnitude, especially with what's going on in the world and the need for this now, it's exciting. It blows my mind.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's a great point of the Silicon Heartland, which Intel itself is saying it, folks in Ohio are saying it, but you're in Cleveland. Everything's connected. Our industries are really there's just so much opportunity for the whole region. And it's a big success story for, Columbus, Central Ohio, but really all of Ohio, and frankly, probably all of the Midwest, because up in your part, there's big investments with Altium Cells and Voltage Valley in the Youngstown area, and things happening in Northeastern Ohio with, biomedical and Cleveland Clinic and University Hospital. So I love that, that Silicon Heartland is being pushed as kind of like the branding, because you kind of have to have that type of stuff for people to take notice. And it's been really cool to see Ohio on the national stage this past week. But we'll move on to story number 2. And this is about a new business, a California tech company. They're opening up a new operation in Chardon. So they're not fully moving, but it sounds like the CEO is going, bringing his family in. ISSQUARED. They're putting new operations in the training center in Chardon. And as the CEO mentioned, They're building it all over from scratch, and so it's going to be continued to headquartered in Westlake Village, California. But he's bringing some of his a bunch of employees, a bunch of investment, and I'm going to kind of something I pulled out is that they landed in Northeastern Ohio because of easy access to the Eastern U.S., school systems, colleges, diversity, and distance from Tornado Alley in the South and Midwest. And the climate was actually a plus because the company plans to establish a data center at the Chardon building, and being in a cooler climate is beneficial. That's a Cranes article that we'll link, but it's a cool success to see another recruitment, another company, this time Northeastern Ohio.
Chris, you and I have been talking about something like this for a long time. Back in the Blockland days,
Yeah.
We were talking about the need to not only bring tech to Ohio. You've got cost of living, you've got environmental concerns, you've got financial concerns. Bringing and you've also got talent. The
Yeah.
talent here is next to none other. Ohio is called the heartland because it provides easy access to just about wherever you want to go. All of these things create a great environment for tech companies to come in and set up, not necessarily have to set up main operations or headquarters, but significant operations. Amazon, Google, Facebook, now Intel, and now ISSQUARED. I think this Ohio is a perfect place for companies that want to take advantage of the resources, the people, the talent, the environment, the finances, tax, and otherwise. And I think the next story we're going to talk about directly impacts the last piece of that.
Yeah, it does. And it's a perfect story or segue to story number 3, which is some year-end financial data coming out from, I believe it's PitchBook, the National Venture Capital Association. But Ohio tech companies raised a combined $2.4 billion this past year, double the previous high, which was $1.1 billion, another record set in 2020. And so there's some really big exits, really big venture rounds raising. We still have a long way to go because that's still less than 1% of the national total, which was just under $330 billion. And so overall, it's up. Ohio's is up. We still have some work to do, but I think we're starting to see it, as you've seen, David, and I know you see it with companies you work with all the time. It's becoming easier to raise in places outside of Silicon Valley and Ohio. This Intel news, companies relocating here, it's all part of this ecosystem.
I think when you see innovation, money follows, right? So a lot of the companies that I've dealt with from a while back in my practice have found trying to raise funds in Ohio a while ago a little bit frustrating because of there wasn't the ecosystem that you have outside of Ohio, the urgency or the want, the desire to invest in tech as much as other brick and mortar type businesses. You find more of that in areas like Chicago, New York, and California. And I think several things have kind of come together to shine a light on Ohio. I mean, you mentioned the money that poured in from investment firms 2020 versus 2021. It's doubled.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see that increase because one thing that the pandemic has done is it's opened up the world. People have started to take a look outside of their physical location. Remote work, remote learning, whatever you want to call it, has helped advance that cause a lot more than before. And so you see innovation looking at Ohio with the things we just talked about, the resources that are available here, cost of living, the just living in general in Ohio. You don't have the fast-paced life that you do in other places that might be more tech-centric, or at least tech-centric in the past. And now you've got innovation coming here. You've got folks that are used to investing in tech companies that know how to do it. They're starting to look at this state, shine a brighter light on it, and I think you're going to see more dollars pour into the state.
It's all a flywheel, and it's really incredible to see it happening. All those pieces, but we do have to go. We got to keep it under 10 minutes. David, thanks so much for joining. Thank you to Zendesk for being our presenting sponsor. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we will see you all next week. Bye-bye.